When selecting microphones to record a drum kit, I like to use Shure SM57s or 58s. Right now I've got SM57s on the rototoms and on the snare drum. We've also got this kit of microphones from ACOUSTICA, which comes with 7 microphones and costs under $350. It comes with a kick drum mic, 3 tom mics, which can also be used for the snare drum, 2 overheads, and a floor tom mic. The reason I chose the SM57 and the ACOUSTICA microphones is because they're dynamic range and directional, meaning they attempt to pick up only what's directly in front of them. The kick drum mic is designed specifically to capture warm, well-rounded low frequencies, giving you that low-end punch found in most rock and metal recordings. When positioning the bass drum microphone, you can either try inside close to the front head and beater, which gives you more high-end click but you lose some of the low-end thump, or place it closer to the outer head, which captures good low-end but less click. I like to place the mic just inside of the sound port, which in my experience gives me a happy medium between the lows and highs. You also want to make sure that both the microphone and the stand are not touching the bass drum or the sound port. I've chosen the Shure SM57 for miking the snare drum. The positioning of this mic is very important when it comes to microphone bleed. In other words, the snare should be the strongest signal coming into this mic. Notice how I've got it positioned below the heads of the rack toms and facing away from the floor tom and the hi-hat. Additionally, we've cut out a piece of studio foam and placed it over the mic to further reduce cymbal and hi-hat bleed. The angle of the microphone is equally important, and I'm going to show you a quick trick I use to get the correct angle, and I call it the stick trick. In order to maximize the signal coming off of the snare drum, you want to angle the microphone to point directly where the drummer is hitting it. That's generally right here somewhere in the center of the drum. In order to angle that easily, I like to put the stick right up against the microphone and then just pull straight down until that stick touches the head. Now you know you're pointing in the right direction. Rototoms generally cut through well enough to be picked up by the overheads and wouldn't normally need a dedicated microphone. When I'm recording a rock or metal song, I like to have control over each individual instrument. Therefore, I've placed an SM57 between the 2 rotos. Because we are miking 2 drums with the same microphone, there is really no perfect position to eliminate bleed from the hi-hat. However, we're only going to need a slight bit of signal from this microphone, so I will just reduce the gain and cut the highs and lows at the mixing console to reduce the bleed. Rack toms and floor toms are going to be just about the same. The basic idea is a strong signal from the tom you are working on and a weak signal from the surrounding instruments. We're going to aim the microphone vertically at the drum head while positioning it to pick up the least amount of sound from the other drums. Overhead microphones need to be positioned so that they pick up the entire drum kit evenly. Although there are many different ways to position overhead microphones, your setup will depend on many things, including the size of your kit and the size of your room. For a kit this size, I placed the overheads approximately 4 feet above the snare drum, equally on both sides. Let's say that you're splitting your kit into 3 equal parts. You would place an overhead at the 2 split lines and at an equal distance from the center of the snare drum head. Got your first third, microphone. Second third, microphone. And there's the center. For the height and angle, we'll use an old XLR cable trick. To make sure we've got the correct height and angle on both of the overhead microphones, we're going to take an XLR microphone cable, hold the end of it at the center of the snare drum, run the other end up where the microphone connects to its cable, make sure we've got the right angle, and then we're going to move this over and check the other one, make sure we're the same angle and height. Then you're all set.